Do you watch SpongeBob? It's a weird question to start our show with. I feel like everybody watches SpongeBob. You know a little bit about SpongeBob, right? And there's an episode where Mr. Krabs feels like he's getting old. He feels like he's out of the game, right? Not really a good episode for kids because they go panty raiding at the end of that episode. But there's a part of it where SpongeBob looks at Mr. Krabs and he goes, "Are you feeling it, Mr. Krabs?" And they go to like medieval times and he goes, "Thou feeling it, Mr. Krabs?" And then they do all these other things. And he keeps asking him, "Are you feeling it, Mr. Krabs? Are you feeling it with this Guardians team?" I just keep picturing the SpongeBob when he runs up the thing and he's got the wings on. He looks like an actual Guardian. Remember when they were superheroes?
Yeah.
He looked like the Guardian. He looked like a Guardian.
Don't want to see me do it again?
You want to see me do it again? You want to see the Guardians do it again and again and again? Jose Ramirez, yes! It was a do-or-die double, and he just smacks it off the left field wall. Cashing our boost yesterday on Tipico. Guards are hot. Are you feeling it, Mr. Krabs? Are you feeling it when it comes to this Guardians team? How far do you think they're going to go? And we go to an unbiased answer. David Schoenfield, ESPN. Is this start for the Guards real or fake? We'll get to that coming up. Browns OTAs yesterday. Kevin Stefanski asked about Deshaun Watson. How's he looking? How are things going? We'll get an update on that. And I want to do it this morning because I'd be lying to you if I didn't think at this point at 9 a.m. on Thursday, thought we'd have a little news for the Cavs by now. We don't. So what I want to do is put ourselves in the shoes of Kobe Altman. We are going to sit down and run through maybe the reasons why you should keep JB Bickerstaff. A lot of us are on the side of he's gone, he's out of here. Well, he's still here. So there's got to be some reasons that they're running through to try to understand, is this the right decision for the Cavs? We'll get to that. We got time up. We got the grid. We got the morning update. We got it all on a beautiful Thursday right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Austin Hedges' bunt saved our ass. I just appreciate David Fry just for being David Fry. Jonathan Rodriguez, and then Jose. For those that didn't know, if you're not betting with us on Tipico, I don't know what you're doing. We had a boost yesterday of strikeouts for Tristan McKenzie, which got hairy, but it was over 4.5, finished with 5, high pitch count, but battled. Guardians money line, which eventually came to fruition. But folks, we had Jose Ramirez, two or more bases. He was 0-4 coming up in the 9th inning. The only things that would have saved us were a double, a triple, or a home run. And I'm sitting there going, there's a do-or-die double for Jose for us to cash this parlay, man. And boy, what did he do? He smacked a double right off the wall. We cash it. We're rolling. Made a little bit last night on the NBA game, too, which we'll get to when we go around the association. Get ready to go for the Eastern Conference Finals tonight as well. But what a win for the Guards. And this team, I mean, it is the question, right? And we're going to ask people this morning. It's already up at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there if you can. But how far do you think this team is going to go? Where do you think they're at? Is it a wild card team? Are they making it to divisionals? Are they going to the AL Championship? Are they going to go to the World Series? And I do think on the first step of believing in this team, right? This isn't 2 weeks into the season. You know, Memorial Day is usually that first poll, that first like marker of the season, right? You don't know what anybody is in April. You still figuring lineups out. May, all right, start to play a little bit of baseball here, and you start to see teams either separating themselves or just showing that they belong. Now, again, with how close we assume the AL Central is going to be, a bad week can sink you. A bad week could send you back. But the way this team fights, and I know Hedges spoke about this yesterday, and I meant to pull this down. It's my fault. I apologize. We're just a mediocre show. And Hedges was talking about the belief that they have in that clubhouse, right? And the fact that they show up every day and treat that game like a playoff game. Now, playoffs are much different. Emotions are a lot different. The stakes are higher. I get all of it. But when you show up with that mindset, and Terry Francona would speak about that all the time, we don't worry about what we did yesterday, and we don't worry about what we're doing tomorrow. It is today's game. What are we going to do to win today's game? And I see that. You had every reason to choke that one away yesterday. Solo home runs, it's your getaway day. You were getting some rest for some guys. Naylor was down. You had Jose just DHing. You had every reason to not win that game yesterday, but they found a way. You were down. You weren't feeling good. You weren't manufacturing anything. What, we have one hit for a little? I mean, you'd had nothing going, and you turn it on. Dude, Andres Jimenez, man. That dude, and you saw him. You saw him pimp the jersey as he crossed home plate. He was sending that right over that Mets dugout there. That was, oh, my God. A little feisty. McKenzie throwing it. Tell Harrison Bader to shut the hell up. All right? I know he hit the home run later, so he got the better, but McKenzie gave up a couple of home runs. Guy needed one in the butt. All right, he got it. Didn't hit him high. Hit him where he was supposed to. And can I tell you something? When he did that, Tristan McKenzie, and it was clear that he threw at Harrison Bader. I mean, there's no question on that. He gave up some home runs. After the second one, plunked Harrison Bader. I didn't know Tristan McKenzie had that in him, man. I did not.
Do you like that?
Oh, hell yeah. That's baseball, man. That's baseball.
Yeah, but it's a free runner.
So what? You got to show a little bit. It's like hockey when you go out there and you send your enforcer out and go, you got to get into a fight. You got to get into a fight. You got to swing the momentum here.
It's a little different.
I don't know, man. I think it gave a little bit to the guard because then the ump had to come out and warn everybody. Plus, the Mets were just bitching up a storm. That umpire yesterday, the last 2 days have been rough, man. We got some calls. Hedges' framing is so good. He plays with these umps. There's questions I wanted to get into this morning about lineup stuff, too. I hate to say, I'm sorry, Gabriel Arias has got to go back down. He can't do anything right now. He just can't. And then it comes back to Hedges catching over Bo Naylor. Like, dude, think about that. A bunt from your 9-hitting catcher. Or he might have been batting 8, whatever. End of the lineup guy, bunt to start turning things around. I think it started with McKenzie plunking him. Now, he gave up again the home run later to Bader. But I didn't know Tristan McKenzie had that in him. You could tell he was frustrated, man. You could tell he was super pissed off on that mound yesterday. Battled enough to give his team a chance to win. That's all you can. And when you don't have it every game. You just got to fight and scrap enough to give it to your team. So I loved that out of him yesterday. Again, Jimenez was great. Congratulations, Jonathan Rodriguez, for his first RBI. Go-ahead RBI hit in baseball. That's great for him. And just Jose, man. What a baseball player. It's so great. But the thing that I go back to is what Hedges said after the game. We show up every day trying to win every single game we play. And that's how you start building that momentum that we've been talking so much about, where guys feed off of each other and they believe they can win any game that they play. You're not going to, but if you focus every single day with different lineups, a different starting pitching, and say, we're going to scrap. Bro, you beat a $300 million payroll yesterday. You swept a $300 million payroll. Talent is so much, but when you can add in a feistiness, when you can add in a little belief to what you're doing, that is things that put you over the mark. Those are the things that'll carry over. I know Jimenez can hit. I know Ramirez can hit. I know Naylor can hit. You have the rest of these guys kind of filling in, but it's a belief of what this team has. The question is, what's your belief? What is your level of belief with this team? Because I think with baseball, as long of a season as it is, and let's be honest too, about how some people perceive the Guardians, right? Some fans, you need to be beat over the head with this team, right? Because some of us grew up in the 90s and those 100-win teams and sellouts and all that kind of stuff. Some of us went through the 2010s. Of good regular seasons, World Series appearance. You're coming off a down year. It just, I don't know why it takes some people so long to get up to speed with the Guards. And you could tell me you got months of baseball to be played. There's probably another injury coming down the pipe. That just happens in baseball. I hope not. But what do you need to see? What is your level of belief? So our question this morning is, how far do you think the Guardians are going to go? Is this just a playoff team? Is this a pennant team? Is this a World Series team? I mean,
Let's pump the
I
brakes.
know. Okay, fine. It's an option, and I haven't voted yet, so I'm assuming
it's winning.
Is it really there? Oh my God! I was gonna say that I'm sure there's some votes there.
Tied, actually.
I'm gonna pump the brakes and hit divisional round.
I hit divisional.
I hit divisional round. Let's pump the brakes just a little bit. And the thing is, I don't even want to sit here. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, man. You know what I mean? Like and I want to ask this question because it's almost just a little vibe of where the fans are at. But like, dude, if they're gonna play like this, you never know what's gonna happen, and it's fun. You're gonna have a summer's worth of great baseball to be played. It's so much fun to watch this team. And again, I think it's important to note that yesterday they had 20,000 people there for usually what they call the business special, the businessman special, where there's a lot of people downtown. They find a reason to not go back after lunch, and they just find their way over to the ballpark, get some tickets, sit on down. But you know what I saw a lot yesterday? There were a lot of kids there. And I was talking to my neighbor, and she goes, I had to run to the post office because she loves baseball too. So we were sitting there talking for a while. And she goes, I had to run to the post office. And in West Park, there's an RTA station right across the street from the post office. She goes, Matt, it was packed. It was packed. And I go, awesome. Great. People are, I can't wait for that day. We said we're taking our kids in a couple of weeks. We can't take the RTA with the baby because we need to be able, if we got to get out of there fast, we got to get the car. I cannot wait. And I guarantee this is how it's going to go. My kids are going to be at school one day, or maybe in the summer. And they'll have a day game, and I'm just going to text my wife, we're gone. We're going to the game. And I'm going to scoop my kids up. We're jumping on the RTA.
Nope.
We're going to the game.
I'm going to call the school, tell them what's going on.
They're sick, Ryan.
No truancy. Nope. I can't.
They got a dentist appointment. They got a dentist
dentist
appointment. Dentist appointment.
Till you're on the Jumbotron.
Ferris Bueller. I think I broke my thumb. Catch the foul ball. Might have to do that to save my kids. But she told me, she goes, the RTA was packed. You play a game like you did yesterday with all those fans there and a good chunk of it being youngsters. Retention. That's how you get people back. That's how you get people walking out of there. Go, we got to come back to one of these things. Tickets are going up. Guardians are playing well. We believe in this start. This is David Schoenfield. So ESPN senior writer, baseball. And he ran through 3 teams that are having a bit of a shocking start. The Guardians, the Brewers, and the Cubs. And his question was...
And the Royals.
Did he do the Royals in this too?
Yeah.
Oh, he did. I'm sorry, he did. In his title, it's just the Guardians, Brewers, Cubs. You're right, he did the Padres and the Royals. Can the Padres really be off to a shocking start with the money? I guess they don't have Soto anymore. And that's something you give him away, and now he's... Not give him away, but now he's the favorite to win the AL MVP. Anyway, is this start real? That's basically what David Schoenfield is asking. Is this start from the Guardians real? So I want to run through some of the things that he brought up. Key stat, hot start. Can this player keep it going in an area of concern? It's like a compliment sandwich. I'm going to give you something we like, an area improvement, and something we'll finish something like. Key stat. The Guardians currently lead the AL in runs per game after finishing 12th last year. After finishing last in the majors in home runs last year, which is 0.7 per game, we're up over 1, which is a little above the MLB average. So I think his point is here, you're manufacturing runs. Yes, we are above 1 a game, which is pretty much the mark in today's day and age. But you're doing it without hitting home runs. Now, Jimenez yesterday completely flipped that game with a bomb, which was great. But you're doing it by getting on base, moving guys around, all that kind of stuff. His hot start only goes to 1 person, and that's Emmanuel freaking Clase. 3-1 with a .39 ERA and 13 saves. He writes, he has 3 blown save opportunities, but the Guardians won all 3 of those games. Last season, he lost 9 games and blew 12 saves. Clase is going to blow one. That is the life of a reliever. By the way, did you see Hayden Grove retweeted this? Did you see what Clase's intro is?
Mm-mm.
It's a fireman theme with Lil Wayne. The song Lil Wayne Fire. I know it's a little before your time.
Dude.
That takes me back.
Before my time.
Yeah, when did that song come out?
I don't know, but Lil Wayne isn't that old.
I'm not saying Lil Wayne is, but Fireman came out in 2005, Ryan. That's before your time.
I mean, I was
You know what that reminds you? You know what that takes me to? In basements at the University of Akron on Brown Street. Sitting there playing beer pong and drinking. That's what Lil Wayne will always remind me of a time past. damn near 20 years ago. Good Lord. Where does it go? But he's got that intro. Hayden retweeted the video because I hadn't seen it yet, man. That was pretty good. So next up, can he keep it going for David Schoenfield for the Guardians? It's Tristan McKenzie. He's got a 3.4 ERA, but the thing is, he's walking 5 batters over 9 innings pitched.
That's bad.
That's not good. And some of it I even saw yesterday where he's nibbling. And I think, the frustrating thing about McKenzie? He gets these guys to 0-2, 1-2 counts, and he just can't put them away. He tries, for a lot, I don't know why, he keeps trying this high strike. He's trying to spike some of his breaking stuff. Some reason he can't put them away. I don't know, there's something to work on there, but that is, can he keep it going about the fact that he's got a decent ERA while giving up all these walks. The area of concern, he had 2. Would you want to guess, Ryan, what your areas of concern? They're not major. One, I guess, is probably a little bit more than the other. 2 areas of concern from David Schoenfield.
It's got to be starting pitching.
It still is starting pitching without Shane Bieber. And then bench. He says, you got David Fry, and again, talking about Arias where he's at. You got Rodriguez now, Manzardo. You could use a couple guys over the bench. And he brings it up about, just some of the situations that the Guardians have been in. Guardians have created an estimated 213 runs, but have actually scored 244, which means they're above average on runs that are supposed to score. They're doing even more than that. And that's, I think, good base running. You got some speed out there. And he says they've done their best work with runners in scoring position. Bro, as a team, they are hitting 300 with runners in scoring position. Slugging 501. 6 players have an OPS over 900 with runners in scoring position. That's really good. I know some of the advanced metrics people don't get. I think everybody knows what OPS is, but that is very, very good. Talk about the bullpen, which is great. The verdict from David Schoenfield. Is this real or fake on this Guardians start? He says it's real. Is Cleveland this good? And he says probably not. But this verdict is more of an affirmation that I believe they'll remain in the AL Central race all season long. The current playoffs see it as a coin flip between us, the Twins, and the Royals. Detroit has a 10% chance of winning the division. They ain't winning the division. So you're down to 3 teams. The Guardians are young, scrappy, with a deep, dominant bullpen that can help cover a mediocre rotation. Do you know the final line of what he says here, Ryan? Now, if only ownership would find some loose change to spend on a starter.
Sounds about right.
Or an outfield bat before the trade deadline, but he says don't count on it. I don't need an outfielder. I'm fine. And even if it came down to key games in August and September, that's a long way off. I'm fine seeing Kyle Manzardo get some at-bats. I'm fine with Will Brennan, and I'm fine with Tyler Freeman. Of course, Stephen Kwan goes without saying. Outfield, nah. Starting pitching. Will they make that move? Will they coin up? I don't know.
Probably not.
I don't know, man. They've done it before. They feel like you're going to have a run. Can you find an expiring guy, like a guy on the end of a deal or something like that? I think there's something to be said about a few of these guys coming up in beans. I don't want to trade away Rodriguez. I'm not trying to trade away Kyle Manzardo, but you get some at-bats for these guys just to prime all that.
Would you trade away Bo Naylor?
No. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Do you think it would upset Josh?
Yes, that's the first thing I thought of. Yeah.
It's a business.
I mean, it is a business. The one thing that I think continues to show is that his future is not a catcher. So is this a year? You got 2 schools of thought when it comes to Bo Naylor. If you agree with what I'm saying, that I don't think he's a catcher of the future here, then either you say, we're going to get through this season and you're just going to, get your at-bats when you can and we'll figure it out later, or do you make the move now? I would say just let him catch. Just let him rotate with Hedges. Fry can do some here and there. You try to keep his bat in the lineup, and then this offseason you figure out what the hell you're doing with Bo Naylor. I don't know, but I wouldn't. If somebody, I don't know, man. If somebody came calling and they said, hey, we got a guy that can be your number 2 for the rest of the season in the rotation, and we want Bo Naylor, I still wouldn't probably do it, man.
I would in a heartbeat.
I wouldn't.
I would.
I think that messes up things with Josh. All right, couple other teams. Before we flip over, we're going to talk some Browns. We'll hear from Kevin Stefanski, and I do want to dive into some Cavs this morning as well. So again, David Schoenfield, the surprise playoff contenders and starts. He says the Guardians are real. What about the Royals? 32-19, Real or fake? He says this is fake. He goes, hope I'm wrong. But the only good thing for the Royals is that the Yankees and the Orioles have separated themselves from the rest of the AL. The wild card floor might end up being several wins below the 89 that got you in the playoffs last year, which he means the Royals have just put themselves in position. I'm trying to run through why he feels like that. Bobby Witt's an MVP candidate. We know that. Royals starters are fourth in the majors with a starting rotation of 3.3 ERA. So, but he says not real. Brewers, real. Cubs, real. Padres, real. So of all of them, the only one he's not believing in is the Royals.
Nice.
And again, the Twins were not in this. But he says the Guardians are real. Everybody else is real, except the Royals. I'll take that very much. I'll take a little OTA action yesterday. Fine. Good. Dude, it's funny when people watch videos and oh my God, did you see David Bell? I'm like, it's an OTA. There was a video of Caleb Williams. And I'm not trying to crap on Caleb Williams. They posted a video of him rolling out and throwing. And they're like, can anybody else make this throw? And I'm like, it's OTAs, man. There's nobody out there chasing him. Now, it was an impressive throw. It was 40 yards while he's falling away. All right, he's got a strong arm. Let's pump the brakes on OTA stuff. Only thing really to hear from Kevin Stefanski yesterday was an update on Deshaun Watson. So they got this plan. He's going to throw every other day. It's weird how he doesn't ever throw on Wednesdays when the media will be there, but that's fine. Here's Kevin Stefanski yesterday. Asked just a little update on Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I think he looked like himself to me. I've been able to watch him the last couple weeks now that we've gotten into phase 2, so I've seen him throw. He's making great progress, and we will continue to just follow the medical team on this, but he looks like himself.
The old no update on an update. I mean, that's it, and that's fine. I don't need Deshaun Watson throwing right now. All good, man. That's fine. And they're on this plan. I know a lot was made yesterday about the mental rep. So there were some videos that every time Jameis Winston or Tyler Huntley or DTR were taking a stab, Watson was standing back there and he was reading the play and he was virtually going through it, the mental reps. That's fine. And I do think there's something to be said that he's there. OTAs are not mandatory. I should say they're voluntary. Myles Garrett's not there. Joel Bitonio not there. You don't need those guys. I don't want it to be lost that I do think it's very important that Deshaun Watson is there. He spends his time in LA. That's where he lives. That's where his surgeon is. He was doing a lot of work there. Ryan, he could have come back with, I'm just going to stay there, right? I'm on this good plan there. But he felt it important enough to be here with the team, getting these throws in. I don't want that lost. I think that's very important that he's here and at least getting a little bit of a mindset. Now, the one thing that I actually put out, and you want to know what? I need you to send this to Noah for me.
Okay.
I've got an ask for the media out there. Who's radioing the plays in? The play calling thing has been massive. It's always been a question every year with Stefanski. This year more than any. You bring in a new OC. Some people felt like when we hired Ken Dorsey, remember the conversation we had around? When they hired Ken Dorsey, people, you didn't get him here without calling plays. And I pumped the brakes on that. And I said, no, I think it was probably, we want you here. We think you can help. And there might be an opportunity for you to do that. At this point, when they hired him, I don't think a decision was made. So how Browns practices go is off to the side. When Stefanski's been the play caller, all the quarterbacks had that radio in their helmet. And Stefanski's got a little walkie-talkie. I don't even know if I have here. You want to know what Kevin Stefanski does? He's got his playbook and his walkie-talkie. And I see him, and he just sits there and Z right, fly 4, double cross, X motion, done. I just made that up. I don't even know what that is. All right, next play. All right, Tyler, you're up. Fly right, or trips right. I'm trying to think of all my old plays from high school and college. You know I have no retention at all on that. Pro right, zip. One of the words is not politically correct to say anymore.
What?
One of the play calls we had in high school.
Oh.
We had a play. It was called Redskin. It was a trap. It was a run right. It's one of my favorite runs to play or runs to block. So that's why I brought that up. But anyway, the exercise there. Kevin Stefanski normally does that. I want to see if Ken Dorsey's doing it. Just I haven't seen anything on that. And at OTAs, where I just don't want guys to get hurt, I want them to get their work in. I'm trying to pick little nuggets up on that. So I need you to send that to Noah for me. Tell him to take some binoculars, do a little investigative reporting for me. And I guess they could just be doing cards, when they have plays like on a paper and they just hand it to everybody and they go from there. But that was one thing I didn't hear much of yesterday from anybody. Talked to Wyatt Teller. He actually spoke a little bit about that transition from Bill Callahan to Andy Dickerson. I want to bring up Chris Easterling's article. Shout out to Chris, Akron Beacon Journal. One of the best. They have a lot of great reporters out there. And I thought it was really interesting. The headline of his article I was reading this morning, where Wyatt Teller talked about that little bit of transition from life between Bill Callahan and now Andy Dickerson. But then Teller spoke about the level of comfort that he gained under Callahan that he can now use moving forward. And I thought about that, of everybody on this offensive line, to a degree, some more than others, got to work under Bill Callahan. Could they turn things to Andy Dickerson and say, hey, man, this is what we learned. This is what we do. Like, I almost feel like the line themselves are coached up. Now it's like it's time to fly. It's time to try to live without Bill Callahan here. And I wanted him here. I was upset when he left. But, hey, man, you got to go coach with your son. Completely respect that. But it's also that level of, these guys probably got a lot of that good coaching under Callahan. Maybe that's not going to be that big of a jump that I fear. Because of all the things this offseason for the Browns, one thing that I don't think it's talked enough is the transition for the offensive line. The injuries and the coaching change, I'm concerned about that. I'm worried about that. That was what you made your bread and butter on. Yeah, Nick Chubb's coming off his injury too. I need that offensive line up and ready to go, man. And you're talking about the biggest shakeup that you could have there, outside of a massive player change, which you don't really have. I mean, I guess you could if they want to start DeJuan Jones, they move this guy here. But I was happy to read that from Wyatt and Chris this morning, just talking about maybe that little bit of level of confidence that they had from their time with Bill Callahan and getting them to this point. And it's never as easy to say, oh, they got all the coaching that they could ever need in their careers, right? Like, you've got them to this level. It's like leveling up, I don't know, in a video game or something, right? You got to this level. There's no way you can go back. No, there's going to be things in this season. And I'm sure Andy Dickerson has a way that he wants these guys to do things, right? But if you got to that level with Bill Callahan, now he's here. I felt really good about that. I felt good reading that article this morning from Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think, if you're expecting it to be Jed Wills and Conklin, Teller, which it probably will be, I'm assuming, unless for some reason they elect to go DeJuan Jones. But I got to imagine they're trotting them out, those two. Like, you don't really necessarily lose anything with Bill Callahan leaving from a point of what they've already learned. Now, it'd be totally different if you're looking at a time where, God forbid, Zach Zinter has to come in, whether it's because of injury or something like that. Then it's a whole different ballgame.
Well, and that's another ballgame, too, of you. Wouldn't you not feel a lot better if Zach Zinter under Bill Callahan? Well, you'd feel like, yeah, man, we got something to work with here. And I'm not trying to crap on Andy Dickerson. I just, we'll see what he's got. Also, the rotation yesterday, Hudson was at left tackle. Batonio's not there, so they had Dunn at left guard. I didn't see if they wrote who was at right tackle. Because, again, DeJuan Jones off to the side, Conklin off to the side, Jed Wills still off to the side. But I didn't see who was at right tackle yesterday.
Probably that Amagaji dude.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. It had to have been him. Complete side note on OTAs. Do you see what Jim Harbaugh is doing out there in L.A.?
Like a coaching clinic thing?
No, dude. He's got his guys running sleds with medicine balls.
Hey, man.
Like, he's going into this
old school.
I get that is the stuff about Jim Harbaugh that I used to bring. That will wear so thin on a professional team. I'm not saying you don't have to be conditioned. I get that. What you gonna have to start doing next? The thing where they take a teammate and put him on their shoulders and start running? Wait till an injury happens. Wait till something happens with some of his freaky things that he's doing. People are going to get pissed. People are going to get sick of him. I guess he's got the contract they're all in on, but I just saw that he's going, like real old school. He's got these guys running sleds. He's got them carrying medicine balls. Hey, man, to each their own. We'll get it done. We start here on Thursday. We still don't have an answer on JB Bickerstaff. And I think I wouldn't have guessed that. And it's a situation that we sit here today that we just all know the inevitability, right? Do you not feel like the inevitability of JB Bickerstaff coaching somewhere else next year is going to happen eventually?
I would think so, but I mean, at this
here?
point, they could still be mulling over it. I mean, it seems all but written that JB Bickerstaff is kind of outplayed his welcome here, and there's a lot of scuttlebutt about him not being able to take you to that next level in the playoffs. But at the end of the day, I mean, we don't know exactly what the front office thinks. Totally. I mean, there's still a possibility, unless, like you said, I mean, probably not this is going to happen. But if Donovan Mitchell said, "Hey, listen, I actually like JB Bickerstaff,"
possibly,
then they're not going to get rid
but
of him.
But again, there are reports that teams are. I wanted to do it this morning because this might be our last opportunity to do it. What are the reasons to keep JB? When we sit here, because obviously they're fighting this right now. The Cavs organization, Kobe Altman and crew, are sitting here trying to find reasons to make the move or not. They have to make a decision. The decision is to keep him or get rid of him. It's that simple. What are the reasons to keep him then?
I would say he navigated injuries pretty well for the most part to keep the ship afloat.
That's number one. He had to fight through a lot of injuries that weren't his fault. He had to go through that.
I would say if you can kind of do the opposite this season and give him free agents that come here and are actually productive, unlike
fit the system,
then he could make it work with them.
I would say...
I mean, you can make the argument they progressed every year.
Well, and I was also going to say, he coached his best at the end. Like, would you not, outside of that streak without having Garland and Mobley, that because people were giving him a lot of credit for that, I feel like he turned it around in the playoffs and did some of his best coaching in the playoffs. So you would maybe feel better about carrying that over. You always want to have the most recent success be your best success, right? And you can make the case that he did his best coaching job in would you say the Celtics series? Would you say the Orlando series? Maybe a little bit. You won the Orlando series. You did what you asked him to do.
Celtics series, but then again, I mean, he really only had a couple options with the rotations at that point.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, there's that. Again, I would say the element of being able to say you had your best view of it, right? Like when you look at what JB has done or not, one of the best I just use resume builder. I can't think of anything else. Like one of the strongest parts of his resume from this season was one of his final things going out there on the coaching, on the end of it, on the most recent version of what you saw. Maybe they feel like they can build on that. I think they're trying to sneak this into Memorial Day. I think they're trying for this to be a little news dump. Because, I feel like the reporting game, which I covered the Browns for a long time. When there's news, you go, right? Tomorrow is the Friday before Memorial Day. We will not have a show. My wife and I are taking the kids up to the lake, so we won't be here tomorrow. But I'm assuming there's a lot of other Cavs reporters that maybe have plans. Or there's the Eastern West Conference Finals going on. Could they try to sneak that in tomorrow? Could they try to maybe sneak this in, make the announcement that they're moving on from JB, and then say there's a press conference coming with Kobe Altman at 2:00 this afternoon? Because at this moment, they've not announced any press conference for Kobe, right? I'm not missing that. So, are they just going to try to sneak this in tomorrow to get off tomorrow? But the other thing is
maybe they haven't made up their mind.
But that's my other thing is, do you really need to sneak this in? Is this something that people would really sit there and go, oh my God, how could you do this? No, I think everybody expects it. So would it really be that of an uproar? Or kind of what I'm getting at, do you think that they're having legitimate struggles with this? Do you think they're having real problems trying to understand or come to a decision? Where you and me and everybody's had JB out of here for weeks.
Well, maybe based on Donovan's decision, maybe if Donovan leaves, they'd elect to keep him.
That is like a little LeBron thing, right? Remember when Byron Scott came in to try to save LeBron from leaving the first time, and that didn't go so well? They went and got Mike Brown the second go-around. LeBron comes here, and they go, yeah, that doesn't work. I mean, you will make moves at the drop of a hat for a star. You're right. Donovan is already here. By the way, did you see the report? Kings apparently are not really all that happy with Mike Brown right now. Third time's the charm, maybe? Would you take Mike Brown and JB Bickerstaff? I like Mike Brown. He's a really good coach.
I don't know.
I think I'm done on that one. Third trip to the buffet line? No.
Is he the Kings head coach?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is he?
Did he not win Coach of the Year last year? I think he did. Rumors, Kings ownership is unhappy with Mike Brown. I didn't know this. Mike Brown was born in Columbus? Huh. His father was serving in the Air Force.
I somehow just found out yesterday, and I'm way more in tune with the NFL than I am the NBA. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not.
Mike Brown was the first ever unanimous NBA Coach of the Year award winner last year for ending a 17-year playoff drought. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
I just found out yesterday, I didn't know Chauncey Billups was a head coach.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and then now we're talking about Sam Cassell getting jobs. There's a lot of form. I mean, obviously, you talk about Ty Lue, you talk about Nash, you talk about Patrick Ewing was a coach for a while.
Jason
Kidd. Man, did he get one done last night. Little dicey on some of those challenges last night, but nice game for the Mavs. We'll go around the association a little bit. But yeah, I mean, former player, I think that carries some weight. It does. I think I'm out of Mike Brown, though. I don't know if I'd bring him back. I'd actually rather see JB run it back, but we'll see how it goes. All right, let's catch a break. We come back. I've got MLB power rankings out from ESPN. Let's see where the Guardians are at. And I also want to update our Twitter question. How far do you think the Guards are going to go? We'll also talk about the NBA Finals or NBA Western Conference Finals last night. And we got all NBA first team. LeBron does it again. Do you really deserve third team, or is this a little bit of what he's done in the past? We'll talk about all that coming up. Fontana Show right here, big play, supporting our friends at Tipico, folks. Get signed up with that code Fontana150. For new customers, you deposit $150. That's a big ask, I know, but you do it with code Fontana150. You will get two $75 protected bets that you can use on our boosts, which hit yesterday, the NBA action that's going on, NHL. It's all right there. The cashback rewards is really what is the big name of the game right now with Tipico. It's some of the best in the industry. Seriously, it is so simple. You are placing your bets like you normally would, parlays and straight bets, and almost everyone. So here's the parameters. Your parlay just has to be better than plus 100. Your straight bets just have to be shorter than minus 200. Okay? That's it. And you are getting your return as you start to fill that meter on up, 5% cash back. That's where it's at with Tipico. That's one of the best things going. Again, let alone the boosts and the parlays. And again, our protected bets with code Fontana150. It's all there. It's all there with Tipico. So get signed up today with code Fontana150. It's new customers only. Terms and conditions apply. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's catch a break. We come back. MLB Power Rankings. Where do we got from ESPN? We had the Guards.
I haven't seen these. So.
I know. We've had around 5, 6, 8, something like that in some of the other ones. I'll tell you where ESPN's got them and plenty more coming up. Fontana Show right here on Big Play.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just, that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
How does an Ohioan build the perfect parlay?
Who's got something? Big guys looking for long odds. The kids in Columbus are covering better than anyone, and at even odds. If it's even, I'm leaving. Listen, our championship DVD starts today, all right?
Dude, I just got an invite to a Cincy playoff watch party.
Shut up. Cincy, State, Cleveland, the perfect parlay. I'm a genius.
For the best odds on Ohio sports, bet with your cojones.
It is Spanish, dummy.
Bet with Typical Sportsbook.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. He's That's ridiculous.
All right, back. Fontana Show right here. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We're all there. Check us out. We're also up on Instagram and Twitch at Matt Fontana Show. Welcome on back. All right, MLB Power Rankings. Let's get to it. ESPN. So we did CBS. Which the other one? Or no. What other one did we do the other day? It was CBS and one other one, right?
ESPN? No.
No, because this is ESPN. I think it might just be. Oh, no. It was Fox. Remember Ben Verlander?
Yes.
Because you didn't know it was his brother? Yeah, Ben Verlander. So we're somewhere in that 5-6 range. Do you want to guess? Because you've been really hot on this. So this is ESPN.
I haven't seen these yet.
Go ahead. Number one team in ESPN's MLB Power Rankings.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Yankees.
It is not.
Damn it.
You always go Yankees.
So, okay, Dodgers?
No.
Okay, then.
It's always these three.
Well, the Phillies.
It's just Phillies. It is the Phillies.
Yes.
Number two would be
the Yankees. Dodgers.
And then number three
is the Yankees.
Yes, that's correct.
So
it's like always those three, and then they just kind of flip it on through, right?
Okay, 4, I'm going to go Orioles.
That is correct.
5, I'm going to go. See, this is where I'd put the Guardians.
Fair enough, but no.
The Braves.
That is correct.
6 got to be the Guardians.
That is the Guardians. Okay. Well done. So here's the write-up here. They stay at 6. Also from David Schoenfield. Guardians made a big statement this weekend with the sweep of the Twins, Jose Ramirez, Will Brennan, all that kind of stuff. Ramirez's average and OPB are down, but he still leads the American League in RBIs, and he's hit well with runners on base. Getting more RBI opportunities as the opponents are pitching to him more with Josh Naylor behind him. Because, of course, Ramirez was intentionally walked 22 times last year. It's only been twice this year. And that's when you have
doing it to Naylor. Can't do it to both.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can't, right. You got to have somebody behind him. And as long as you've had Jose Ramirez, what's been one of the biggest issues? You don't have a bat behind him to protect him. And it's not even just walks. It's like the pitches that he's being seen as well. So you get the Guardians at 6. I want to go around the rest of the AL Central here. Kansas City is 8. And Minnesota is down at 14. I don't care about the Tigers or the White Sox. Yeah. So you have the Guardians 6.
Actually, can you look for me, though? I'm curious. Did they have the White Sox last or did they have the Marlins?
They had the Chicago White Sox dead last.
Were Marlins second last?
Marlins were second last. Okay. The Rockies were 28th. It goes A's, Rockies, Marlins, and White Sox are the worst teams in baseball. And the Angels, who, by the way, we start a series with this weekend.
And the Rockies. We play them, too.
Yeah, you know, it's funny they're talking about the broadcast, too. Colorado's a freaky place to play. And it's not just even the altitude, but like that ballpark. There's something scrappy about the Rockies, too, that I feel like we never really like play them all that well.
When was the last time they were good?
When did they go to the World Series?
I mean, I remember when they had like Troy Tulowitzki.
Yeah, and Colorado Rockies. I feel like they've been to the playoffs within the last couple of years. Stand by. I guess not.
Yeah,
they went in 17 and 18. They went to the World Series in 2007. You want to hear a crazy stat? The Rockies, which they've only been in existence since 1993, they've never won the NL West. They have never once won the NL West. They have 5 playoff bursts in their history. 95, 07, 09, 17, and 18. That's it. So I guess you're right. They've kind of been down. Yeah, Charlie Blackmon. Is he still there? He's got to be, right? I feel like he's a Rocky for life. Bring back Dante Bichette. Not Bo. His dad, Dante Bichette. That's where it's at. Yeah, he's still on Rockies. Get him out of there. He's 37 years old, though. About done on that. So I think that's fair. I think that's fair with the Guardians being there at 6, right? Let's go back to our Twitter question, please, Ryan. It's up at Matt Fontana Show. Where do you think this all ends up for the Cleveland Guardians?
33% leading is the divisional round, but World Series was leading for a while, actually. That's second with 31. AL pennant round, 23.6. Wild card, 12.3.
We were asking this, kicking around this morning, what's your favorite thing about this team? What is your favorite thing about the Cleveland Guardians right now? It could be the bullpen. Is it probably the bats?
I mean,
you're winning because of the bats.
My favorite
right
thing is Jose Ramirez.
Well, yeah,
but
David Fry might be an answer
but,
there.
I mean, because that's different. Like, to me, the MVP 100% hands down is the bullpen.
Yeah.
Because they're not only playing extremely well, but they're
the best in baseball.
But they're making up
they're
so
the best
much
in baseball
for the lack of depth in the starting rotation.
Yeah. You know, the other thing, too, I don't want to say excitement, but there's a lot of push on. So people are really excited about all these prospects. I'm not talking about Manzardo and Jonathan Rodriguez. There's like 3 other guys that everybody's just kind of like, ooh, like chomping at the bit. They want to get up here. And I go, are we just so ingrained with that as Guardians fans to just be so hyped about prospects? It's like the backup quarter. We can't help ourselves. Like, people get so excited. Oh, we got to bring this guy up. We got to do this. We got to do that.
I think a part of it, too, is because we've become pretty much, I don't want to say conditioned, but a lot of times, more often than not, we know once these guys develop into stars, they're getting paid somewhere else. You know?
Well, then, yeah, you're right, because you want to get up, but they're going to, if they really are a star, they're going to get found out eventually,
sure.
Right? The thing is, I don't look at this team and sit there and say, we have that big of a hole right now.
No,
you know, like
I would argue
like
just,
normally the prospects,
pitching.
I'm bitching because they like, man, I just want to see this guy. Like, I'm done with this guy getting at bats. There's nobody I really like. Gabriel Arias is kind of in the crosshairs right now. And I'm not getting rid of him. You can go ahead and send him back down. I'm assuming he's got options left. Send him back down. But there's like nobody in the lineup that's getting consistent at bats because you have nobody else. And I'm sitting there saying, I'd rather see a prospect. It's like Miles Straw. Eventually, people were just done. I would make a joke about the straw breaking the camel's back. I ain't going to do it. But eventually, you cross the line. I'm sick of this guy.
Everybody was well tired with Ramon Laureano. He obviously got for assignment. And then the same thing is kind of happening with a Gabriel Arias, you know?
Yeah.
Like, but besides that, I mean, right, I love Will Brennan and Tyler Freeman. I think that's fine right now.
Every lineup they put out, I get excited. Like, there was the one they did the other day, which I really liked. Really liked.
I mean, once you get Quan back,
that's even better. That's even better. So there's no part about this team that I feel like is a glaring hole. You'd like to be better here. You'd like to be better there. But that's a pretty complete team. That's how you kind of move it forward. I want to flip back over to football. So the owners' meetings are going on down there in Nashville. And this is an important week for the NFL because this is where, first off, money is discussed. How we divide this up, what check did we get, all that other kind of stuff. And then number 2, there are a lot of rule change ideas that come out. So they always do an owners meeting earlier in the spring. The combine can kind of suffice sometimes too as a giant convention. And now you got these owners meetings going on. One of the biggest things asked to Roger Goodell, the schedule. So we're staring down the barrel of 18-game regular season in the NFL. It's one of the worst kept secrets. They already have the idea, because Goodell went on McAfee. And he laid it out, right? We would start a week earlier, probably get into Labor Day. You'd stretch out another week. Maybe add the other bye. You'd get the Super Bowl.
You'd have to.
I think you have to. You'd get the Super Bowl to President's Day, with the Monday after I'm talking about. So most people would have that day off, which is really exciting, which everybody wants. Then what really gets the NFL tickling their fancy there, you could add more international games. You know what the other bye allows you to do? More flexibility for international. Did you not bring up Australia?
Yes.
About that? Like,
yes.
Now we got options with that. So he was speaking yesterday to reporters, and he said amongst the factors the league considers regarding an 18-game schedule, which would have to still be agreed on by the PA, is player health and the quality of the game. Goodell saying, the key thing for us is looking to make sure we continue to do things that make our game safer.
Come on,
He's got to say that. I know that, and I'm not trying to... Listen, I want the game to be as safe as possible. They don't actually care. They pretend like they do. They don't. He said 17 games is a long season. So we want to make sure that we look at that and make sure that we continue the safety efforts. What I think they're trying to, like, there was a great article that got posted about the NBA playoffs and how many star players weren't playing in the playoffs because they were injured, right? And the article was funny. They listed Giannis, right? They listed, Julius Randle. I know I'm missing another big one somewhere, too.
Did Kawhi miss a game?
Yeah, he was very injured in that series. And then they just put the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, they didn't even put an individual player for the Cavs. They were like just the Cavs. They were the walking wounded this year. The same thing, I think, for the NFL. You adding these games will increase injuries. And can you avoid the quarterback ones? You don't want to see an end of the season where you don't have Patrick Mahomes. You have Burrow with a wrist injury. You got Justin Herbert out. You don't want that. But the NFL also wants to make a lot of money, and I think 18 games makes the most sense. Goodell also was talking about working with the Players Association. Would we reach an agreement with them that's going to be that we're going to proceed on that? But also third, and this is not necessarily in order, the quality of the game. Would we do it in the context of reducing the number of preseason games? Yes. We think that's a good trade, says Goodell. Less preseason games, more regular season games. I think most anybody would think that is beneficial. But again, those are two factors that are important. So we say in three things. Number one, injuries, game safer. Number two, is the PA going to dive in on this? And number three, are we actually going to get good football in these extra games? The PA thing, I actually believe would be the one thing that hangs this up. Because reducing by a preseason game, that's a preseason game star players don't play in anyway. Now that you're down to 3, you are getting your starters for maybe a game for one half, right? Remember the old ramp up when it was 4? They play a quarter in game 1. They'd play a little more than a quarter in game 2. And game 3 was the dress rehearsal. They play the whole half. They'd come out of halftime. And then game 4 was jack squat nothing. Now that you're down to 3, with joint practices, by the way, you play nobody in the first one. You play your starters a half in the second one. You play nobody in the third. So if you take out the third game, let's just say, you'd probably have the same dynamic. Actually, you might even have a flip. You put your guys in there for game 1 for a half, go to joint practices for 2, and then you're done. The players aren't going to like that because you're sacrificing a game that Justin Jefferson and Patrick Mahomes, they wouldn't play in that game anyway. Now you're giving them a game they have to play in. Now you're giving them a game you have to play in. What would the PA give, or what would the NFL give the PA? They already legalized marijuana. That was a big legalized. They stopped testing for it. What else is there? That was a big sticking point. They gave them that.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
What do you mean when you say they have to play another game?
So what I'm saying is, like what Goodell's saying, we'd go to just 2 preseason games.
Right.
So imagine that third preseason game now becomes a regular season game. That third preseason game didn't mean anything to, like, you're forcing them to play in that. It's not like you're going to them and say, well, you would have played in that third preseason game anyway, because they wouldn't have. You're making them play an extra game. And it's not quite as simple as like, you would have played that game anyway. Like, there's no way. And the power of any union is your most powerful players. They don't want that. What's the only thing they can give them? More money.
I thought for a minute you were going down the road of PA wouldn't like it because you're taking away a game that, yes, like you said, your stars aren't playing regardless, but it was taking away opportunities.
Sure, I could listen to that.
For other players.
And that's the thing. The PA has to keep up their facade that they care about guys that are on the bubble
like
of
the
53.
Joe.
Right. There are guys that made the roster in that last game and things like that. They don't really care about it. And if anything, their comeback would be, hey, we've expanded the practice squad out for more opportunities for you. And what they're going to go to the NFL and say is, we want more money. And then again would trickle down to more players, more star players. That's the only leverage I think the NFL has anymore.
I would like to see it go to 56.
56 players?
Roster.
Like all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what do you have now? 54.
But you got your inactives on Sunday. Yeah. You got to keep it there. I get it. And there are a lot of these games that are going to play. We know it's going to 18. You mean everybody know that it's going to 18. The thing is, you keep asking the players to do more. Hey, go more international. We're going to really fuck up your schedule now. We're going to be playing on Wednesdays.
But do you think the players would?
The holidays.
I don't know. I kind of think a lot of players would be okay with it if you add that second bye.
True, and I'm sure the teams.
Because, like, don't get me wrong. Every time you add a game, it's just simple math probability. You're increasing a chance somebody gets hurt.
Yeah.
But I think it would. But having 2 byes in the regular season, you can almost split the season up in thirds.
100%.
I think that could do wonders.
It would. I would tell you this, and I'm sure they would agree with us on this. You cannot add an 18th game without adding a second bye.
No, yeah.
And I think the NFL, again, that helps what they're trying to do. because
But they're probably
you
trying to
get more
float that like they're doing
international,
them a favor. You
well,
know?
no, I'm sure that you're right. In a negotiation, I'm sure the PA would spit on that. They go, we don't give a damn about that. What do they want? They're going to want more money, and they're going to get more money. Everything's going through the roof, all this streaming, all this stuff. And the thing is, now with where the NFL is at, think about this, man. I grew up in a good chunk of my life that there were two networks that had football, relative of two networks. You either watched them on CBS or Fox, okay? You had Monday Night Football, ESPN, little involved. Like, dude, Ryan, for a good chunk of my NFL life, ESPN wasn't even involved. They had nothing for the NFL. And then you had NBC. Now, that's four. Amazon, Netflix, Peacock. I guess that folds under NBC.
You said Amazon?
Yeah, that's 7.
I mean, there's more.
Apple,
Netflix,
all of it. You're at this point now, you are looking at these companies, and they're asking you for content.
Paramount?
You have to give them more content. Paramount.
Don't they have?
Well, again, Peacock is under NBC, Paramount's under CBS. Like, they're relative. Hulu, that's under Disney, I think, is it not? Whatever.
Hulu's Disney, yeah.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. So now you have even more thirst, demand, if you will. You've got to supply that. They ain't buying preseason games. They're not doing that. So you've got to give them these regular season games. And you get to go back to them and say, hey, we got to renegotiate this deal. You know, when Amazon gave us $10 billion or whatever the hell it was, that was based on 17. Guess what's 18 now? NFL's not giving you that one's on the house. Don't worry about it. They don't do that. So I think the biggest hurdle is going to be the PA. And what do they got to do? They got to sit down and they go, hey, man, here's more money.
Do you think that pisses off like bars and restaurant owners?
Well, I mean,
having to buy every single service?
Well, so from my understanding, and I have a couple, well, I wouldn't say I'm close friends.
Or is it cheaper than cable?
Usually they can get all of it through DirecTV. Like, usually there is some sort of package that they can buy. Now, some of that, you're right, is not available. Like, gosh darn it. Was it I can't remember. This was a long time. Not that long ago, but like a couple years ago. And a buddy of mine went to a bar. So I think watch a Browns preseason game or something. The bar goes, we don't have it. They go, we can't find it. And it's not even like, so do you know how that works about how much trouble a bar could get into? So let's just take the UFC, for example. Here's a prime example. Right?
Oh, by like buying it and then
so the
streaming it to everybody?
UFC, so when you buy that pay-per-view, number one, the bar, you don't get to negotiate that price. So your bar, Ryan and I open a bar, the Garage Beer Big Play Bar, okay? Tipico Sportsbook in the corner. Write that idea down. And we have our seating. And let's say that our bar holds 125 people. You have to pay as if 125 people are sitting in there.
Oh, damn.
It doesn't matter if 2 people are or not. You pay if that bar is full.
Really?
Yes. Now,
I understand.
That's the rules. So when I buy the UFC fight, that's why some places will charge a cover for you to get in the door.
I was about to say that. I said, then can't I just turn around and be like, hey, we're streaming the fight, but we're putting this cover charge as.
So I've been to plenty. I'm a big UFC fan.
$5 a person.
So,
you're
like,
making your money.
When I was a kid, but like there were people that go and squat. They'd go sit at the bar and order pop all night. Like, no, first you got to order some. So a lot of bars, rightly so, it'd either be a cover or a lot of places I went to, you would walk in, you'd give them $5 and they'd give you a poker chip for a free drink, right? Or the first $5 off your order or something like that, just because they want to get people in the door. So you got to pay for that. And then, I know a bar that got popped doing this. They would, everybody knows you can stream these illegally, right? You can go on somebody, dude, that is tens of thousands of dollars of a fine. So you don't even want to play that game. So with the NFL, and it's a bit of a niche thing. You're right about bars and restaurants. I'm shocked that they've not come forward as a package to say, if you own a bar or a restaurant, you get all the games and here's your deal. Ryan, do you know what then would happen? I'd be listing my garage as a bar and going, wow, I get all these games and I don't have to pay all this money out the ass to get 7 different streaming services.
You think it's that easy?
No, it's not, because like they probably say, well, where's your liquor license or where's your food food safety, health, inspection, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? People will be trying to scam that on out. Yeah, my garage. Dave, he's in his garage. It's a
Are
bar.
bars forced to sell food?
Do you have to have, if you serve alcohol,
Don't
you have to have some sort of food, because if somebody get plastered.
Shit-faced. Yeah.
So a lot of the places get around it. 'Cause
What
these
if
are
I
my
just
favorite.
had like, popcorn in the corner?
That's it. That's all you gotta have.
Oh.
Some of my favorite bars in this world. Shout out to Warren Road Tavern, WRT.
Is that why people always be having like popcorn?
Yeah. That's how they get by it.
Interesting.
Because if somebody gets that, you have to at least have the option. Now, there are some bars, another shout out of a great place called Working Class Brewery in my West Park, my home of West Park. And they have, like, again, they have popcorn. Any bar that's got a popcorn machine at it, that's a bar for me. I don't mind peanuts. One bar I went to in D.C., man, you know what? Because some of those, those old school places, the second you sit down, they just throw you a tray of popcorn or peanuts. Bro, this place had Chex Mix. And I was like, yes, this is the greatest bar I've ever been to. But, so they had a popcorn machine in the corner, and that suffices. Their rule is you can bring food in. So, like, it's in a shopping plaza. There's a Subway, there's a Romeo's, there's a Mr. Hero. Like, you could just walk down, get a sub, order a pizza, and bring it in. They don't care. That's how they work. But the bar must have some sort of, the other one, Warren Road Tavern, just on the back wall. Those old, like, chip clip, like, on the wall things? They just got that. And you got to pay $1 to get a bag of chips or a bag of popcorn or something like that.
Sorry, I'm really distracted. Browns just announced their fan trip packages for the Vegas game.
Run through that. I'm interested.
Yeah, you want to?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Browns at Las Vegas.
Okay.
Let me click on the link.
So, by the way, and I think a lot of Browns fans have seen this, they've got a new company out there that's like, you just, you pay this, I don't want to say exorbitant amount of money, but they take care of everything for you. You pay this. So, like, you and I want to go to a game, Ryan.
Dude, that'd be so fun.
And normally, what do? You got to buy tickets. You got to find a hotel where you're tailgating. You got to get to the game. You got to get a flight home. There's a company out there now I've heard a lot about. It's an all-encompassing package, and you just go. So I think the Browns are obviously they're partnered with them. So hear me out. Let me know. Vegas, what is it? Because you want to know the other thing too? The Raiders love that.
Oh,
the Vegas, because they're actually probably happy that the Raiders suck, because Raiders fans are not going to go. They want Chargers, I guess not Chargers fans. They want Bengals. They want Browns fans. They want Baltimore fans that are going to pay their good money. They're going to hit the casinos. They're going to eat the food. Trust me, I want to go too.
Dude, I've never been to Vegas, and the only time I've seen an away Browns game is like the Bengals. And
Yeah.
I'm not even out of state. That
Vegas would be, okay, can we get really behind the curtain here? We should try to partner with they're partnering with everybody else around town.
Yeah.
So we partner with them to get our fans to want to go. Now, the thing is, the cat's out of the bag. I know about it. Everybody knows about it. And go sign. No, I'll tell you this, it ain't cheap. It's not cheap.
So, yeah.
All right, run through. This is the Browns package. That literally the Browns, I'm not kidding. There will be flights of nothing but Browns fans leaving Hopkins the Friday before that weekend. Trust me. So run through what you get through this package. Do you have a price on it?
Yes.
Okay, don't tell me the price. I want to guess.
Okay. So it looks like events included: welcome party,
Yep.
Q&A with former Browns players,
Yep.
pep rallies, exclusive tailgate parties.
Okay. Double occupancy, probably hotel room, right?
So you can go. So this trip package includes flights.
Yep.
Round trip.
Yep.
Transportation.
Yep.
From the airport to hotel.
Sure.
It's a 3-night stay at Planet Hollywood.
Okay. See the Mirage is closing, by the way? That sucks.
Obviously, it includes a game ticket.
Yeah.
Experienced on-site trip coordinators.
Okay.
And yeah, so you have your packages are based on how many people in your room.
Sure. So you could do double occupancy.
So it's 1 per room, 2 per room, 3 per room, and 4 per room.
Oh, 4 per room. Okay. And that would be 2 double, beds or whatever. We've all done that. Trust me. Now, okay. So here's a twist, and I don't know if you have this. Can I get different seats? Can I say I want to go on this trip, but I want to pay for premium seating?
I'm
or
sure
is
you
it
could do
no? But they might say we bought a section out, and you're in this because part of the draw might be you're with all the Browns fans.
I think you'd make it. It wouldn't really matter to me.
I'm just saying. Okay, I'm gonna guess for one person.
Right, it's per person.
And let's say we're gonna go double occupancy. You and I are gonna go.
So 2 per room.
2 per room. $3,700.
Oh no! Well, according to this, and I'm sure that there's not
plus taxes and all.
Yeah, taxes, but they have it listed as for 2 people a room. Sorry, I lost it.
You're good.
$1,400 per person.
Wow.
So it'd be if it was 1 person in a room, it'd be $1,900. But the cheapest,
What's cheapest four
if
per
you get
room?
4 per room, which is the way to go.
Oh, yeah, who gives a crap?
$1,200 per person.
That ain't bad at all. Think about it that way. Your flight to Vegas, what, $300-400? Your ticket to the game, probably $200, maybe a little less, whatever. So you're already at $600. Well, no, more than that. And then add in the hotel for 3 nights. That's about $1,000 right there. So you're paying just a little bit more for the welcome party and the transportation.
14. I mean, how fast?
I don't know how I'm selling that to my wife. It's a work trip, honey. I gotta go. I gotta go to Vegas. I don't know what to tell you.
It'd be my first time in Vegas.
No, it's smart. And trust me, I know a lot of people are going to jump on this. I know a lot of people are going to be up on this trip and go. It's genius. And the same thing, they have these to go to New Orleans. They have these to go to Jacksonville. But everyone wants to go to Vegas. That's the smartest thing. It's one of the smartest things the NFL ever did, was get that team to Vegas. They needed to. That's why baseball teams got to get. Dude, can I sell you another little dream here? You know where I'm going. Guardians playing the A's in Vegas in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So 3-game series. Even if it was a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I don't care. And we get on a flight, we get tickets for 3 games. I'd rather actually go during the week.
I'm like dreaming about this trip now. I want to go so bad.
Oh, it's fun. Vegas is great, man. Vegas is awesome. And especially if you go with groups of people, like if you're going in this group. Now, you got to understand, you will not have a true vibe of Vegas. You're going to go see it, and you've seen all the movies, so you get an idea of what it actually looks like and the casinos and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes it's good to go with a group like this.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And you feel great about, just having people there.
Shooting the shit with Browns fans across Vegas.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and you feel like you're a part of it, like a tribe. You're part of a group there. We're invading it here. And I know Browns fans are going to go. We travel well anyway, but those kind of trips are going to work.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I know. It's going to be a big deal there. And the Browns getting on board with this is really smart, too, because they're going to get their cut. You know they are. And the NFL is going to like the fact that they're pushing this, too. So I like it. I like it very much, man. I think it's going to be exciting. So we'll get to 18 games eventually, and we'll also we'll get these Vegas trips rolling. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's catch our break. Come back. We'll do the morning update. We got to go around the association from last night. We'll get to the Immaculate Grid. We'll get to Time Up. We got it all for you. Stay with us. Fontana Show right here on Big Play.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just, that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
How does an Ohioan build the perfect parlay?
Who's got something? Big guys looking for long odds. The kids in Columbus are covering better than anyone. And at even odds. If it's even, I'm leaving. Listen, our championship DVD starts today. All right?
Dude, I just got an invite to a Cincy playoff watch party.
Shut up. Cincy, State, Cleveland, the perfect parlay. I'm a genius.
For the best odds on Ohio sports, bet with your cojones.
It is Spanish, dummy.
Bet with Typical Sportsbook.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
right, let's get to it. For us, Friday, we'll be off tomorrow on the Memorial Day weekend, but we got to go around the association. Ryan's got other stores going. We got big video game news. Yes. Morning update. Please take it away at Ryan.
All right, Matt. Well, the Browns are in OT.
Not starting COD. Okay. We'll get to that later.
Well, the Browns are starting OTAs this week, and Deshaun Watson was not throwing yesterday. So the media wasn't there, but they will be throwing today, as Kevin Stefanski came out and said the plan is for Deshaun to throw every other day. Not much news other than that about Deshaun Watson.
That's fine. Hey, man, whatever their plan is, he could throw, not at all. Don't really care. You got to get him ready for training camp. Then the question will be, how much do you get him in the preseason? At this point, don't care. Now, the other thing that is to keep an eye out, I mentioned earlier, I want to see who's calling the plays in. I just want to get a vibe of maybe if there's a lean of who's calling plays or not. What is this offense going to look like? How different is it going to be with Ken Dorsey here? Are we overblowing that? Is this still going to be Kevin Stefanski's offense? We'll have to see. So I want him to get the mental reps. I want him to get a little idea of what this offense, because like anything, this is really into the nuance of coaching, right? They could tell guys, hey, run this route, do this. But we want you to finish here. We want your hands here. Deshaun, we really want the ball here. Like, there's like a really, that's how big it is at the NFL. They get down to the smallest little details. So there are things that Ken Dorsey, he's going to come in. And again, whether he's taken over the offense, whether it's all his, I doubt it. It's still a little bit of Kevin. But it's going to be a little bit more of like, all right, this is really what we're trying to hammer home here. This is how we need this to look. And I do want him to get on the same page with Jerry Jeudy. I want him to continue that, progression with Amari Cooper, all that kind of stuff. So get some throws in when you can, but I don't really care how much he throws or not. Between now, dude, think about this, too. You got 3 weeks OTAs, which I do think it is still very important. And I don't want it lost that Deshaun Watson is here for these. 3 weeks OTAs, then you still got mini camp, and then you're back for training camp. There's plenty of throws still to be had. Trust me.
All right, Matt. Well, the Guardians are winners of 6 straight as they come from behind to sweep the Mets. Andres Jimenez with a 3-run blast in the bottom of the 6th to seal that, baby.
That felt good.
Guardians are off today. Tomorrow they begin a series against the Los Angeles Angels.
Dude, keep it rolling here. I look at that game yesterday. The Guardians had every reason for that to be an off game. We're not going to win. They smacked some home runs. It's a getaway day for us, day game. Different lineup, maybe not some normal starters in there, and you didn't. And you kept fighting. It all started with an Austin Hedges bunt that gets you going, and then you just pile on. How good must have that felt for them to get on that plane yesterday to fly out to L.A. with that kind, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that they're just feeling good about themselves. And baseball being the grind that it is, you just want to capture as much as you can of that feeling good and feeling like you're competitive and that you can win and that you can show up on any given day and hit and play defense and all that kind of stuff. They're feeling good. That's the best thing I can say about this Guards team right now. Love it. Keep it rolling. Won't have it. Well, maybe we'll do some boosts so we can just send it out on social, over the weekend. But Jose, you beast! We needed him to hit a double in his last at-bat to cash our parlay yesterday, and by God, he did it. If I see him, I'm going to thank him, man. And like, Jose!
I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
Yeah! Yeah! Didn't hit a single. Didn't ground out. Smacked a double. So I'm sitting at home watching. And I sent the tweet out. I go, we were getting ready. I go, this is a do-or-die double. And I'm sitting there, I'm holding the baby. He worked the count. Bro, I about threw the baby through the ceiling. I was like, yes! It was really funny. I was holding her, and I kept going around my living room going, yeah! And she was cracking up. She could not stop laughing at me because I was just holding her in this arm, and I was just going like this, and she, movement for a baby's. She's just smiling. She has no teeth yet. It was, oh my God, it was such a great afternoon. So thank you to Jose. I think I won $25, but still. It's a win is a win, man. I loved it. Well done on Jose getting our boost done yesterday.
All right, well, I think you got a little more money because you listened to me. The Mavericks, they beat the Timberwolves 108-105 in the opening game of the Western Conference Finals. Luka Doncic with the game-high 33 points. Kyrie Irving pours 30 of his own. Jaden McDaniels leads the Timberwolves 24 points. Anthony Edwards held to just 19, Cat to 16, and Rudy to 12.
That was like a game where the Mavericks just kind of stuck around. They didn't do anything. And they just got their opportunity. Luka was unconscious for a good chunk of that game. Dude, those step-back threes that he splashes, those shots at the mid-range, I got to start eating some crow, man. I didn't believe in this Dallas team. I'm like, dude, it's just these two guys. And then what happens? PJ Washington shows up with some clutch shots. Dude, that center. Oh my God, I'm so disrespectful right now. Who's the center for the starts with a G? Gafford. That, and then that other, was it Derek Lively? I think it was. They came in and gave you some good minutes, and then especially defending Cat. Gobert had nothing. I feel like Gobert had nothing to do yesterday. But and then, of course, Karl-Anthony Towns splashing some big three. It's going to be a fun series. And I listened to you. And here's how the betting goes. And we'll get to our trends for tonight. I feel a big game for Boston coming up, but we'll get to that in a second. I was really conflicted. And don't get me wrong, I feel good about all the bets I play. I expect that every bet I place is going to win, right? That's why you do it. But I was really, really hampered. And I think I placed my bet at like 8:29 yesterday. The game was 8:30 because I didn't know. I really didn't know. And Ryan, I sat back and I said, I'm going to run with you, buddy.
Shout out.
And I said, you know what? Ryan feels good about this. So, like, here's what I'm saying. If I don't feel good about it, I will defer to you or like some of my friends and go, somebody that I know, that I trust, has a really good feeling about that, and I don't feel anything, I'm riding with them. Ryan, you won me money last night, bro. I appreciate it. I add that onto the bill when we go out there. We get out there. We got to put that on the books. What if you and I just make our dinner that we have bet $1 million?
I remember
on?
it was
Let's go to Vegas.
It was for.
We'll just go to Vegas.
What was the original one for? I think it was. I said the Buccaneers are going to beat the Eagles in the playoffs.
I think that's probably. And then we've had drinks and beverages and desserts and appetizers and all that. So
we'll just go to Vegas.
We'll just go to Vegas. We'll cash that in for the buffets out there. But yeah, I mean, it was I learned a little bit. And Minnesota, who I said I thought was going to win this series, and I still think might. I looked at it more of I was impressed with how they beat Denver. Last night seemed like a shock of reality where I'm not taking anything away from Dallas. I mean, what did Kyrie and Dodge, 63 they combined for?
Yep.
I saw moments of that game that Minnesota had the opportunity to pull away and they didn't. There was missteps, missed shots, missed possessions, and I felt like that was Minnesota being like, oh, well, you guys will just back down now, right? Like, oh, we came back on you. You're going to fall apart now. And they didn't. I think that was a big learning lesson there for Minnesota. The other thing I don't think I gave full attention to with Minnesota, remember Chris Finch tore his patella? And he's sitting on the sidelines a row back as he cannot get run into again. And they've got that assistant out there actually running things. Jason Kidd with some ballsy challenges yesterday. He won both of them. And thankfully then, Minnesota challenged that other one. I think there were several out of bounds ones, but they lost that. You entered a good stretch of the fourth quarter. Neither team had their challenge. There were some dicey calls that really kind of flipped that. Luka, absolutely insane. Kyrie had a fine game. The other thing, too, dude, they shot horrible from beyond the arc, and they still won that basketball game. Well done. Fun game to watch. I'm excited for tonight. We'll get our picks a little bit later in the show when we run through our trends.
All right, well, the all-NBA teams for this season were released yesterday. First team highlighted by Nikola Jokic, SGA, Luka Doncic, Giannis, and Tatum. No surprise there.
Question.
Second
Not
team, Brunson, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, Kawhi Leonard. Third team, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Tyrese Halliburton, LeBron James, and Domantas Sabonis.
Who put LeBron on the first team? I'm looking at the total points. Somebody put him on the first team. And I love LeBron. I know he met the 65-game threshold. I shouldn't talk crap. I really should. That's fine. The other thing that I think is just insane to me, somebody gave a vote to DeMar DeRozan for third. He got 1 point on one third-place vote for DeMar DeRozan. You know what that tells you? How many guys were ineligible? Right?
Yeah.
How many guys do you look at that didn't meet that threshold? And I think it's right about what the NBA did to try to curb some of this stuff. But Donovan Mitchell,
Donovan would have been second team, I feel like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think he would have been there over Brunson. I think it's crazy that Anthony Edwards only got 3 first-team votes.
I don't. To be honest,
You think he's fair second team?
Because you have your guards, and I think that Shai deserved it over Ant.
If you believe
and I think
that
Luka deserved it over Ant.
If Luka's a point guard, he is. I mean, I guess you're right. I guess he is. The other thing, did you see some of those contracts?
Oh, I have the number.
Yeah.
You want the number?
Yeah. $81 million a year? That's not shy, right? Or is that shy?
No, it's shy.
It's shy. He potentially could sign a super max that would pay him $81 million fully guaranteed.
So because Tyrese Halliburton and Anthony Edwards made the all-NBA teams, their rookie extensions, they'll earn at the end of it an extra $41 million.
Right.
And then Shai,
total.
In 2031 and
That's
in
it.
2030-31, Shai has the eligibility to make $81.5 million. That would be the first player ever to have an $80 million salary in one season, and that'd be 35% of the projected
that's
cap
the whole
in 27 28.
Exactly.
And Luka Doncic also has that opportunity along with Shai.
Yep, that's it. Because it's got to be 35% of the cap when that supermax triggers. And what did they do it?
Cleveland Cavaliers have dismissed coach J.B.
there it
Bickerstaff.
is. Yep.
Reported by Adrian Wojnarowski, Bickerstaff led Cavs to conference semifinals, won 99 regular season games in the past 2 years, but change comes with hope of advancing deeper.
Yep. All right, there it is. It's official. It sucks, but it had to happen. And boom goes the dynamite. Yep, there it is. Text my buddies. Sorry, I'm texting everybody. JB Bickerstaff out. It had to happen. I mean, I hate this. I liked JB Bickerstaff. He took you as far as he could. You could try to talk about the injuries and give him the benefit of the doubt. This is an extremely pivotal offseason for the Cavaliers. A change was needed. You will have change on your players. There will be player change. There's going to be a trade, whether it's Garland, whether it's Jarrett Allen. You start with this. And I'm going to be dead serious. I thank JB Bickerstaff for his job here, man. Seriously. This is not a guy that I'm kicking out the door, let the door hit you on the ass on the way out, and get the fuck out. That's not where I'm at. I liked JB, and I thank him for what he did. You would not be where you're at today without JB Bickerstaff. You might laugh at that. That is the truth. If you think about this, if you had the wrong guy in this job, this rebuild would not have gone the way that it did. A big chunk of that is trading for Donovan Mitchell. I understand that. There were good moments with JB Bickerstaff, and I don't want that lost today. I sit here seriously, truly wishing him the best. You know, when they fired some coaches, when Larry Drew was out here, I said, good, get out of here. John Beilein, get out of here. Byron Scott, bye-bye, right? Ty Lue, even that got contentious at the end. I feel none of that with JB Bickerstaff. I don't. And I feel bad they kept him on the string this long. Like, he had to sit around for a week, and now you got to go to a Memorial Day weekend out of a job. That sucks. I don't know why they waited this long. This move had to happen. And I do think it was a little of the same mindset that I had. There was a line that got crossed months ago that I never thought there was no going back. There was no going back on JB. And I understand people that tried to make the case, and maybe this is why it took so long. It was a hard decision. You have 1,000% have to factor in the injuries, right? And I give JB, this might sound crazy, a passing grade on the totality of the season, which is hard to do to go back months. Overall, this season, JB did a good job. He gets a passing grade. That's not enough anymore. And you got to give the Cavs credit for understanding that, to say that this bar that we reached to, that is not good enough. We have got to take another step forward. And also, is this not the NBA playbook? Is this not exactly how a team in the Cavs situation goes? You build your team up. I know there's a giant question from Donovan Mitchell. You had a coach get you this far. Now it's time to find somebody else to take you the rest of the way here. And do not for a second think that Donovan's not involved in this. I'm not saying that he walked in and got JB fired. What I'm saying is you got to listen to what he thinks the right head coach is for this team, on the off chance that you can get him to come back. This was step one. Again, breaking news this morning, the Cavs have officially dismissed JB Bickerstaff. So Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, all right, more from Woj. Cavs president of operations, Kobe Altman, and GM Mike Ganzi can start to formulate a list in the coming days, but one candidate to monitor is Kenny Atkinson. That's been a name we have brought up before. Golden State assistant, and he coached Jared Allen and Karis LeVert to the playoffs with the Nets.
That's kind of funny because I don't really see either of them being on the roster next year potentially.
Yeah, I mean, those aren't the guys I'm trying to get a coach for. You know what I mean? Those aren't the guys I'm trying to get a coach for. We know it's Donovan Mitchell. So you got to make the best hire. And again, Dave Yeager is still out there. Kenny Atkinson. There was this Donovan Mitchell guy. Not Donovan Mitchell guy. There was a guy that coached Donovan in Utah. NBA head coach. You want to do the power rankings right now?
Yeah.
Available. 10 coaching candidates. This is from weeks ago. JJ Redick. Apparently they like him very much. Chris Quinn. Is that the guy? No, he's been Spoelstra. Becky Hammond, Kenny Atkinson, JJ Redick, Terry Stotts, Sam Cassell, Dave Yeager, James Borrego. He was in Charlotte for a little while. Mike D'Antoni. And I like Mike D'Antoni, but I don't know about that. I'm not having Mark Jackson come here either. That's the final list there. Gosh darn it. There was somebody else that had a big connection to Donovan Mitchell. Is it Dave Adelman?
I don't know anything about.
I know, this is one thing I'm kind of out on.
Yeah.
Ty Lue, if he gets out of, I'd take him back in a heartbeat. Tell me I wouldn't. Sean Sweeney, Budenholzer's already been hired. Charles Lee's already been hired. Dave Adelman, James Borrego, Sam Cassell, Micah Nori. I think that's the guy that's out there coaching while Chris Finch is back with his knee injury. It's a solid list. Who's again? You know nothing of it, but do you have a number one? Like
I don't know enough about any of them to.
Would you
really
take JJ Redick here?
I would listen to it.
If that meant you could, I don't know, that really kind of grease the wheels maybe for your guy LeBron. If that would be it. If that would be where it's at. It sucks, man. It sucks. I don't like. I'm not dancing on any grave today, but I would also assume like it was just. This is not out of the blue. Those sometimes are even worse. The whole staff is probably going to go too, right? You'd imagine maybe, I don't know. But like JB got you to this point, which I don't want that to be lost. JB got you to this point in the rebuild, and I thank him for that. There was just only so much that he could do. And there also needed to be a shakeup to this organization where with how this season ended, even with the injuries, you needed to send a little message to the players. And I'm sure even if these players didn't like JB or they didn't like some of the play calls and all those reports, you got that news this morning and it kind of made, I'm sure all these guys, LeVert and Mitchell and Merrill and all these guys sit there and they go, man, that sucks. You know, that sucks. We didn't do enough to help him keep his job. Now, this is a business. This is how this goes, but it's a little shakeup to the team. Now, this hire of where the Cavs are going to go now from JB Bickerstaff, paramount. This is, I cannot tell you how massively important. The other thing, not just about the hire, but your timeline. Because if you believe that it's Jared Allen or Darius Garland on the way out here, you don't make that move until you have a head coach in place. If it really is Kenny Atkinson, which if I had to place a bet today, I think it's going to be Kenny Atkinson. If you bring him in, you don't want to do anything until you sit him down and say, hey, man, for a couple of days, and I'm sure he'll do this prior to his interview, watch tape, watch film. He knows who these guys are. Sit down. Kenny, what do you need? What do you think is going to work? And he could be pounding the table. Do not get rid of Darius Garland. He could be pounding the table. Do not get rid of Karis LeVert. Or don't get rid of Jared now. You've got to factor that in. but you now have a timeline that you got to get moving on some of these other trades eventually to show Donovan Mitchell whether or not this is the right place for him to stay. The work has just now begun. This is the first domino of the offseason that we all expected to happen. It did. You still got to get a move on. And I didn't look NBA coaching vacancies at the moment, right? Vacancies. Who's open right now? There are currently 3 teams, now 4, without a head coach. Oh, no, because Phoenix hired Budenholzer, right?
Yes.
The Lakers, the Wizards, and us. That's it. And you imagine, I mean, maybe there will be another one. Like, could you see them getting crazy with Michael Malone there in Denver? I doubt it. You know, like you assume everybody else is in pretty good standing, right? I don't think Thibodeau's leaving New York. So with that, Lakers, Wizards, and the Cavs. Well, clearly the Lakers would be the best option. And in fact, I actually might like if they just take JJ Redick. Just take him and get him out of the care. You know what I mean? Like just fill that hole and leave everybody else. I feel pretty strongly. I think it's going to be Kenny Atkinson. I think that's going to be it.
Would you take Darvin Ham?
No. No. I mean, here's the thing. You get a stink. McNeil. The gif of JB meeting with Dan Gilbert. He goes, that just so you know, that's bullcrap. That's bullcrap. But it is what it is. You know, Darvin Ham. Here's the thing. Darvin Ham will get another head coaching opportunity in a couple of years. Yeah, I don't think you sleep on Mike and Nori. Who was that guy with Donovan Mitchell? Who was that guy? Oh my gosh, it's going to annoy me so much. JB Bickerstaff. Dang, we just lost to the league's best 64-win team in the conference semifinals without our best players. We'll get them next year. Dan Gilbert and the Cavs, the gif or the video from Fresh Prince. We? Magic Johnson. I ain't going to be here.
I'm not going to be here.
I ain't going to be here. Oh, I don't like doing that. I hate it, man. I hate it. I don't want to do that. Who Ben Axelrod just sent out? Who the hell is that? In a Cavs uniform. He's a former player.
Who is that?
I don't know. Do you see that from Ben?
Yeah.
He sent out a random picture of some former Cavs player. And I don't know if that's anybody that I've seen on the list. It's not Sean Sweeney, I can tell you that much. Oh, you'd have to go way back on the roster. I don't know. Just search players to wear number 20 for the Cavs. Cavs number history. All right, players to wear number 20. Brandon Knight, George Niang. Chris Quinn. Is that Chris Quinn? Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, it is. Yep, that's Chris Quinn. Yep, he's on the list. Bring him on home. Kenny Atkinson's probably my number 1. That's it. Maybe Mike Anora, maybe Sam Cassell. I think Redick's out, but we'll see. So the breaking news again this morning. Cavs have moved on from JB Bickerstaff. There it is. I'm trying to see if anything else is coming out this morning from it. Haven't seen it. Yeah. I mean, and again, Warriors assistant Kenny Atkinson, and also from Shams, Pelicans assistant James Borrego are expected to be among the candidates for the job. I'll call my shot. I think it's going to be Kenny Atkinson. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. All right, you want to do the grid? You want to take a break? I want to send a tweet about this.
You just want to rip the grid?
All right, rip the grid real quick. Here.
All right. You can rip it fast.
All right, rip it. All right. We'll accept your help, by the way, at Matt Fontana 83, at Ryan Tyler 33 in the YouTube comments, up and down, left and right, Hall of Fame player, go!
Raiders.
Kenny Stabler.
Who?
Well, let's just go with it for sure. Go Charles Woodson. I think Kenny Stabler's in the Hall of Fame.
Charles Woodson in?
Yeah, he just got it. Right? Yeah, okay. Just making sure.
This isn't in yet.
Kurt Warner.
Is he in?
Yeah.
All right, Dolphins, Dan Marino.
Yeah. Larry Zonka, crew, anything you'd like there.
Browns, Raiders.
Carl Nassib.
Browns, Cardinals.
Duke Johnson came to mind, but I think I might be thinking of David Johnson.
I know David Johnson.
Cardinals, Browns?
Colt McCoy.
Oh, good call. Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah.
Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis Landry. All right, we're off to a good start here. All right, Raiders. Did not somebody bring up Arden Key for this in the past? I for the life of me can't remember. Raiders. Huh. Did Nnamdi Asomugha go there? For the Raiders. I know for a fact he played
Should we just move on?
Or for Baltimore. Why? What do you got? Another one?
Baltimore, Arizona. Anquan Bolden.
Yeah, that's a good one. Dolphins, Ravens. Dolphins, Ravens. I don't. Man,
Jadeveon Clowney didn't play up.
No, he never
Dolphins.
played for Miami. No, he didn't go there. I don't.
Calais Campbell, did he play for the Dolphins?
Oh yeah, no, not the Dolphins. No, not the Dolphins. No way. Kyle Van Noy. I don't know. Yeah, Kyle Van Noy works. Kyle Van Noy. Yeah, Kyle Van Noy. All right.
We got to get this.
Raiders, Ravens. Last one before Memorial Day. Close out, I think, a borderline perfect week for us. I think we've only missed one all week. Quarterbacks. Kyle Bowler.
RG3 was never on the Raiders.
No. Joe Flacco never went to the Raiders.
Did Todd Heap ever go to the Raiders?
I don't think so. He went to Arizona.
Torrey Smith ever go to the Raiders?
No.
Was Nelson Aguilar on the Raiders?
It sounds good.
I think he was.
All right.
No, I'm thinking of maybe Brashad Perriman.
I don't think Brashad Perriman was ever on the Raiders. Nelson Aguilar's been around. Nelson Aguilar works. All right. Well done. That's how you finish out the grid. I got to add to Time Hop, by the way, that this day 2024 Cavs fire JB Bickerstaff. Does it matter when they say that they've dismissed or you parted ways or you got fired or you were relieved of duties or any of that kind of stuff? What question do you have for Kobe Altman off of this? The first thing that I thought of instantly was, what was the breaking point for you? Was there a point for you, Kobe, that you felt like this was like, did you have this weeks ago, months ago? Was this something that you just now made the decision? I don't know. So here's the official statement from the Cavs. Cavaliers have dismissed JB Bickerstaff as its head coach. It was announced today by President of Basketball Operations Kobe Altman. JB is a well-respected NBA coach and an incredible human being, said Altman. Over the past 4 years, he helped establish a culture that progressively drove players to become the best versions of themselves. Decisions like these are never easy, particularly when you look back at where this franchise rebuild started under his leadership. The NBA is a unique business that sometimes requires aggressive risk-taking to move a franchise forward and ultimately compete for championships. We owe a ton of gratitude for everything JB has contributed to the Cavs as an engagement in the Cleveland community. We wish JB, his wife Nikki, and their 3 children the best on their future endeavors. I thought that quote was interesting. The NBA is a unique business that sometimes requires aggressive risk-taking from a move from a franchise forward and ultimately compete for championships. That's the interesting part for me. Do you think this was an aggressive move?
No. In what way?
I don't like. Hang on. I want to send this out. At Matt Fontana 83. Drop me a follow there, please. Thank you very much. This line was interesting. I mean, it's exactly what it is, right? You think he has taken you this far, and now it's time to make the move. Now, this all comes back to who are you going to hire, right? Like that, okay. The other thing is, anytime you want to fire somebody, anytime you want to cut a player, it's who are you replacing them with? Are you getting somebody that's going to be better and move you forward? Do you feel like Kenny Atkinson takes you to that next level, right? Do you feel like a guy, like Borrego, any of these guys, do they take that next step forward? There are some guys that I just don't know if that is a true statement. But to be honest with you, I kind of think Kenny Atkinson can do it. Won the championship with the Warriors as an assistant. Okay, here was Kenny Atkinson in his 4 years in Brooklyn. 2 years missed the playoffs. In year 3, made the playoffs, but got gentlemen swept out of the first round, and then resigned after a 28-34 start in 2020. Since then, been the assistant coach under Ty Lue for the Clippers for a year, and he's been with the Warriors since 2001. He's probably, again, my favorite of this pool. You got to pick somebody. I think my pick is going to be Kenny Atkinson. I think that's going to be it for me. And we don't know, again, about all these kind of stuff and what exactly they're looking for. But yeah, this Atkinson, he coached Garland or coached Allen and Karis LeVert in Brooklyn. So what? That's not the guy I'm worried about. It's Donovan Mitchell. Does Kenny Atkinson run the kind of game that you feel like is going to be conducive for Donovan? Let me do this, dude. Imagine if you're Donovan Mitchell. Does Kenny Atkinson do it for you? Is that a move that you feel a lot better about? I don't know.
I don't know the answer.
You knew you had to make a move with JB. Now, step 1 is done. Step 2 is doing something that's going to further your franchise and help Donovan Mitchell stay. That's a big factor in this. You're not just talking about hiring a guy to come in here and take things over and twist this and change that and do all that. We're talking about a guy that's also going to help keep Donovan Mitchell. That might even be more important than the X's and O's. Are you bringing somebody in that is going to help Donovan Mitchell stay? Do you believe any JJ Redick is involved in this at all? Do you think JJ just looks at the Cavs and he goes, "Yeah, I'm good"?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, So eventually it happened. Jeff tweets, "Who would be a risky hire?" Yeah, because again, the quote that's getting me out of the Cavs statement here. The NBA is a unique business that sometimes requires aggressive risk-taking, move a franchise forward, and ultimately compete for championships. Aggressive risk-taking. Who's the risky move here?
JJ.
Yeah, or unproven, assistant kind of guy. Damn. I mean, again, the shock of JB getting moved, that's fine. Now the real work starts. And I would think you need to try to get this done quick so you can start moving on to the other areas of your organization, right? This is prime number 1. Kobe's safe. He ain't going anywhere, right? So he's here for now. Him and Gansey got to sit down. Could you have a head coach within a week? That's kind of my time frame here. Not to ruin Kenny Atkinson's Memorial Day. Get him on a plane and get here now. Get this interview in now. You want to bring in somebody else? You want to bring in Borrego? You want to bring in Chris Quinn? Whoever else, get their ass on a plane now and try to get this hire done by next week. Because then you're still going to take time to sit down with that coach and formulate your plan together of what this team's got to do. That's then another week. And then all of a sudden you're that much closer to the draft. And all of a sudden now we're doing this player. We got to start fielding trade calls. It's going to start rocking it up, man. There is no Memorial Day break for the Cavs right now. They have all this work that they have to do. I also tried to think about quickly of all the NBA head coaching hires recently and what they've been able to do. So this is, okay, here, I'm able to search this by start date. So this offseason, you had the Nets, the Nets hired Jordy Fernandez, the Hornets hired Charles Lee, and Budenholzer goes to the Suns. Those were the 3 moves thus far. The Lakers need one, the Wizards, and now us. So then I look to the other recent hires. Do you know the next recent hire? Doc Rivers. I'm taking that out of it. Monty Williams with the Pistons, not going great. Nick Nurse with the 76ers. Ime Udoka with the Rockets. Quinn Snyder with the Hawks. These are all the most recent hires. Any of those an outstanding example of turning it around? Not really. Then you go to Joe Mazzulla. That was a forced hand type of thing with the Celtics, doing just fine. The Jazz, Will Hardy, Kings, Mike Brown, Jamal Mosley with the Magic, which was 3 years ago. I think you try to look at the most, outstanding examples, right? And you would say who? Chris Finch with the Timberwolves. And then Mark Daigneault, or however he said his last name, with the Thunder. Ryan, they got hired 5 and 4 years ago.
That's a process.
It's a process. That's what I'm saying. I look at some of these teams that are maybe even similar situations as us. None of these hires are quick. None of these teams. Rick Carlisle with the Pacers, he's been there for 3 years now. 4 years now. He's been there. None of these hires are these quick turnaround type things that you've seen. Gives me a little concern. I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't have a little concern about that. When you look at the landscape, what a lot of these guys do what? Or a lot of these teams did what, right? You hire them, and they are a part of your rebuild all the way through. Didn't work out. I'm trying to find teams that did the same thing we did. You had a coach that took you to a certain level, and you bailed, you brought in somebody new. I don't have a lot of recent examples of success with that in the NBA. You got to go back, decades to go back to Steve Kerr and Mark Jackson. And maybe some of these teams aren't in the same position as us as far as the rebuild goes. And also, call me crazy, this is not a cycle where you have somebody like Nick Nurse that's just, beating you over the head of this guy's I love Nick Nurse. I think he's really good. You don't have a Tom Thibodeau. How long's he been in New York? Dude, he's been there for 5 years. Can you believe that? Doesn't feel like that. This is not a cycle that you have this just beats you over the head. It probably would have been who? Budenholzer. He's off the board now. He's off the board. It seems like Kenny Atkinson is your best hire at this point. I don't know many people are jumping through hoops saying, yeah, that's the hire right there. That's the hire. So I tweeted out about the risk taking, and Padone tweets me. He goes, you want to know the most aggressive risk the Cavs could take? Hiring J.J. Redick and try to bring LeBron back. There's your risk. You're right. Any of these any moves a risk.
Speaking of head coaches, I find this kind of interesting. Brian Windhorst on Get Up earlier talking about LeBron's involvement in the Lakers' search for a new head coach. Quote, LeBron does not want to be involved in the coaching search. He does not want to have the coach on his shoulders. This is the Lakers' decision.
But also,
that kind of makes me think maybe he's not that involved.
He doesn't need to be involved because they know what he wants. You know what I mean? It's that simple. Rich Paul probably let the Lakers know LeBron's wish list, and then that's it. He's out. He didn't want to be involved. Involved makes it sound like they just got done with a hire, and they go, hey, Bron, we just finished this interview. What do you think? He don't want to be involved. He just let. And the thing is, the Lakers don't have to abide by that. They don't have to sit there and say, we got to do exactly what this team do. And the same thing, for Donovan, part of that is a coach that's going to make Donovan think about staying. I think all these things are factors when you come to it, right? Do you take that swing on J.J. Redick for LeBron, which I don't buy because I don't think he's leaving L.A., so don't even worry about that. But if you really think J.J. Redick is the best coach, the right guy, then go get him. But you got to wait. He's got to finish out his ESPN stuff. Is he doing interviews right now? I don't think he's interviewed yet with anybody. Do you wait? And that happens a lot in the NFL cycle, right? Are you willing to wait for this guy? Are you willing to wait through all this to get this interview while other guys get snatched up? I think the good thing is it's a limited number of teams right now. I think at most you have the 3 that you have available right now. These are all the things that are swirling in my head. I'm going to send a tweet out after the show about it. Just kind of like blurting out everything that I'm thinking about with this. Here's where I'm at. Number 1, there are only a couple of teams. That's good for you. Number 2, there is no clear-cut favorite candidate. There is no Quinn Snyder. There is no Nick Nurse. There is no Mike Budenholzer. That is just like, without a doubt, maybe the home run hire. Number 3, you have the influence of Donovan Mitchell, which I don't think can be lost in this. You have to have that. And number 4, you got to work quick. I think you have got to get this done super fast to get to all the rest of the things that you got to do with your team. That's where I'm at with this move. You move from JB. Done. Number 1, you do have a limited pool. Number 2, there is no clear-cut veteran guy with all these accolades. Number 3, you got to do this to somehow appease Donovan Mitchell a little bit. And number 4, you got to move quick. You got to get this done so you can get on to the other things of your franchise to show Donovan Mitchell what you're working with here. I don't think this... Let me ask you this, Ryan. And it's an unfair question, but I'm asking anyway. How much do you think Donovan played into this? And none is a fine answer.
I think a ton. I don't know how it could be.
I kind of interested on that question. But, like, I don't want to put that on social media because then people are going to get really snarky and pissy.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think Donovan wants to start getting labeled as a coach killer by any means. But if you're focusing on him being the center of your franchise, of course you're going to.
He has to be. He is. So, again, what do you do? And that doesn't have to be number 1, but it's got to be somewhere on that list. It's somewhere around there about the relationship that he might have with somebody or running the right system. But then that just gets you to part number 2 of improving the roster and pulling the trades off that you need to. The Cavs got a lot to do, man. But they made the first one. They made the first one. Like, they made the move that you got to do. So we'll see. All right, you want to get to the game for tonight?
Oh, I was thinking a world record time hop speed.
Yeah, we can do that. Go ahead. All right, world record time hop. 1 year ago today, the NFL adopted their new kickoff rules. They're going to change it again. It's kind of stupid. This day, 2022, Baker Mayfield was skipping the Browns' OTAs, and reportedly the Browns said they were willing to eat a good portion of his contract to get him traded away. So that's this day, 2022. This day, 2018, the NFL announced their national anthem policy where they required all players to stand. Remember that whole saga and all that kind of stuff? Can you believe that was 6 years ago? This day, 2013, Terry Francona returned to Boston for the first time as the Indians manager. Boston got a 12-3 win this day, 2013. Remember when Tom Cruise went nuts on Oprah and he was jumping on the couch about Katie Holmes? You never seen that video?
No.
Really?
No.
He's on Oprah.
I believe you.
And he jumps up and down on a couch screaming that he's in love with Katie Holmes.
Interesting.
That was this day, 2005. So, can't believe you've never seen that. Have you ever listened to the Marshall Mathers LP? From
Of course
Eminem?
I have.
Came out this day, 2000, became the fastest selling rap album in history. It's a good one. Pretty good one. This day, 1948, Joe DiMaggio hit 3 straight home runs off the Indians, including 2 off of Bob Feller. Yankees get a 6-5 win. This day, 1934, in a shootout, the police killed Bonnie and Clyde. You remember that back in the day? Like, if you ever seen Public Enemies, great film, by the way. But, like, you were a Prohibition gangster. Bonnie and Clyde and Al Capone and what's the other one? Babyface Nelson and all that kind of stuff. What a world to be in. This day, 1901, the Cleveland Blues rallied with 9 runs in the 9th inning with 2 outs to beat those Senators 14-3. With 2 outs, Cleveland had 6 singles, a double, a walk, and a hit by pitch to score 9 runs with 2 outs to win the game.
Talk about a rally.
Yep. This day, let's go. Happy birthdays. Buck Showalter, Cesar Hernandez, Aaron Donald, Andy Janovich, Drew Carey, Bray Wyatt, and Ken Jennings all celebrating birthdays today. I actually have 4 movies for you today.
Rip them real quick.
All right. This day, 2003, Lloyd Christmas gets powers when somebody very powerful goes on vacation.
What?
Lloyd Christmas.
Lloyd Christmas?
Who's the actor that played Lloyd Christmas?
I don't know. Is this a Santa Claus?
No, you've never seen Dumb and Dumber?
Oh, yeah, I have. I don't know
Okay.
his name was Lloyd Christmas.
His name's Lloyd Christmas.
I don't know.
So who is that?
Jim Carrey?
Okay. He takes...
The Grinch.
No. He takes over for somebody extremely powerful while he goes on vacation.
Is that The Mask?
No.
It's not Ace Ventura? I don't know. The Penguin movie?
Jennifer Aniston's in it.
With Jim
Steve
Carrey.
Carell's in it. Morgan Freeman plays God.
Oh. Bruce Almighty?
Bruce Almighty, 2003. All right, next up, this day, 1997, a sequel to a movie that I hold in my top 10 of all time. They go to a different island and have to get... It's dinosaurs. They got to go to the other island.
Jurassic Park? Jurassic World?
The Lost World Jurassic Park. The second Jurassic Park.
What's it
You
called?
ever, the Lost World
Lost
Jurassic
World,
Park.
okay. No, never seen it.
Never seen it? Great, man. Stayed in 1997. All right, another sequel. This day, 1984. A long-standing film series that they need to end because Harrison Ford is just way too old. He's
Indiana
got
Jones?
Which one?
Dial of Destiny?
No. This day, 1984.
Oh, is that the new one I just said?
Yeah.
The Skull one?
Temple of Doom.
Temple
I'll
of
give you
Doom.
that. Temple of Doom. And then the final one, a horror movie this day, 1980. It takes place at the Overlook Hotel.
Over The Shining.
That is correct. That's a solid day of flicks right there.
Yeah.
Bruce Almighty, Lost World, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, and The Shining. All right, our plays for tonight. Quick, Tipico, go! I got it at 9 for tonight, buddy.
I'll take
224
Celtics
and a
-9.
half.
I'm taking Celtics -9.
I think I'm going to take the Celtics minus the 9, too. All right, quick trends here for the game. Indiana's 4-1 against the spread their last 5 games, 4-2 straight up in their last 6. They are 4-1 against the spread their last 5 games against Boston, but just 2-6 straight up. They're only 1-5 straight up in their last 6 games on the road. Indiana's just 1-11 straight up in their last 12 games when they're on the road against Boston. You flip it over for the Celtics, they're just 1-4 against the spread their last 5 games, so they're due for a cover.
Is the coach that you couldn't think of the name of, that connection with Donovan Mitchell? Is it Johnny Bryant?
That might be it.
Because Charles said Johnny Bryant's who Donovan wants.
Is he the guy from Utah that was his personal coach? I should just Google that. Donovan Mitchell, personal coach. It's not Jasper Bibbs. He's the trainer. Johnny Bryant has the connection. He's the Knicks associate head coach, but it has a deep and documented history with Mitchell.
Yeah, Charles said that's him.
That's him. That's him. Johnny Bryant. I don't know, man. I think that's a ballsy move. What if you bring in Kenny Atkinson and say, go get Johnny Bryant? But he's already the associate head coach with the Knicks. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. All right, JB gone. I'm sure more reactions we'll have going here on Big Play. Appreciate everybody joining us. We'll go Celtics -9 tonight together on that. All right, we're in Tipico code Fontana 150. It's going to do it for us. We're off for the weekend. We'll be back on Tuesday. Have a safe, enjoyable, relaxing Memorial Day weekend, and we'll talk to you on Tuesday. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana. As always, take it easy.